So I always say I want to live life as art. For me, as a sensitive soul in a weary world, that idea of beauty in the everyday gives me great solace and great peace. And it's an antidote to everyday living. And so, sometimes I want to offer or proffer ways that we can practically and simply do that. And I think of jewelry as one of the easiest ways to do that in a way that's ritualistic, expressive, and and yet not ostentatious also at the same time. Anytime I design or buy or start wearing a new piece of jewelry, even if it's just like, oh, I'm charmed by it aesthetically, it's a beautiful vintage gypsy ring or this or that, I'll kind of reflect on, what I want that to represent as like a totem in my life. For example, this is a jyotish ring I got years ago in India, and it's constructed in such a way that the light can pass through the ruby to hit my skin. And there's certain thoughts about that in the Vedic tradition of what that does for balancing this or that energy. But it's really about the memory of where I was in a place in my life and what I, was looking to cultivate. And I had something inscribed on the back that continues to be, a theme in my life, but is maybe not like the foremost, mantra or theme of the given moment. I have 4 rings on, like each of them, I have like perform some little personal ceremony or ritual around when I would begin wearing it to create that kind of impression in my own consciousness of not only where I was in that moment in time, but what I want those pieces to represent. And it's not to say that I'm not aesthetically drawn to them. That is, in essence, a very practical kind of material way in which we follow charm. Oh, I'm drawn to this dress. I'm drawn to this ring. Oh, well, what is that about that that's drawing me there? And what else is happening in my life that might be compelling me to choose that? Or do I really just love gold and diamonds? Or do I really love the color red? Or, and it may just be those things, but it doesn't mean that, if nothing is coincidence, if it's coincidental, we, to a certain extent, get to be the meaning makers. We, as reflective beings who are in touch with our, quote, capital T, true, capital S self, then, we can trust that the charm is leading us there for some reason, big or small. And so, yeah, I think jewelry is a fun way to live life as art because it can take us back to a moment in time we don't want to forget, to an idea, a principle that we want to further cultivate or represent in our lives. And it also goes back to that idea, which I've mentioned elsewhere, of making something extrinsic or taking something, utilizing something that is external, extrinsic, that we wear to remind our visual consciousness, our somatic consciousness through those senses of, again, the principle, the value, the memory, the thing that we want to be reminded of consciously, so that eventually it just gets absorbed into our beingness. And it's no different than like, oh, I want to remember to pick up some fresh apples on my way home from work today. How am I going to remind myself to do that? Because I don't usually go to the fruit stand after work. Well, I'll maybe wear my watch on a different wrist, or I'll tie my hair a different way to remind myself, like, okay, throughout the day, that's what you need to do after work. I mean, I think of jewelry sort of in that sense. It's getting our attention in a really subtle way. And sometimes it's not even, we might not look at the ring every second of the day and be like, oh yeah, there's that thought or that principle or that little saying that I want to remind myself of. But we can trust that if we have set that ritualistic intention at some point, we can let it go. We don't have to constantly be hyper vigilantly reminding ourselves and doing that kind of manifesting work. We can actually just rest assured that consciousness is working for us all the time, so long as we are cultivating it in those concerted moments of meditation or other kinds of self-work that then allow us to trust that our consciousness is ever suturing with that cosmic universal consciousness to be greater, more greatly integrating all of these intentions and ideas without our having to manipulate it overly.